Well, it looks like Rob and Jasmine are back at it again. So as you can see, Rob starts off by saying an emotional affair is an affair. Stop cheating and lying to yourself. I mean, to be fair, Rob is somebody that is a cheater himself, but the only difference between him and Jasmine is that he did admit to online cheating, as Sophie kept reminding us. So I guess accountability was something that he was able to do and something that Jasmine has never been able to do. But he also continues by reminding us of a sudden event. He said read a post about domestic violence stats or statistics aren't accurate because who cares about men? And that's a very, very good point to bring up. Who cares about men? Because really and truly, if we was to get stats properly based on men being abused versus women being abused, I'm sure whatever the numbers are now would be very, very different. But anyway, we continue. It says here, but because we have to remember, there are less reported male domestic violence situations where men are the one being abused than there are females being abused. You see what I'm saying? So when you're looking at it that way, you're never really going to get the correct number of who gets abused the most. But either way, though, even when men do get abused, guess what? No one really cares, and that's probably why men don't really call out. Don't get me wrong, there are also many women in this world who get abused and don't say anything as well, out of fear and out of XYZ. I'm not saying that women don't do it too, but I would argue and say that men probably stay silent about it even more than women do. But again, depends on obviously who you're talking to. But either way, it continues here by saying, I was assaulted on national television twice in a row. And of course, that's him referring to Jasmine. Then I was asked to leave the room so the woman could calm down. Yes, can you imagine? She hung out with the rest of the cast. I was treated like dangerous element. Building full of witnesses, nobody cared. I was judged more harshly for standing up in preparation for assault than she was judged for actual assault. And that is a very good point because I know for a fact, and we all know for a fact, that Jasmine is the one that attacked Rob. But before I get into this part in particular, Jasmine came out of a response. And in the response is where I'm now going to dig deeper into what Rob just said there, because it's mentioned here in this post here that Jasmine decides to obviously talk about. As you can see, she said, I'm glad to see the truth. We all saw the videos of Sophie being abused by him, yet somehow he plays the victim. Now, of course, you know, Jasmine's not going to waste any time by bringing up Sophie into the conversation. Now, of course, yes, we did see videos of Rob verbally abusing Sophie. Not physically, just verbally. And then obviously there were accusations that were thrown out there by Sophie that she says he did that we never saw proof of. So we can only really go by what we saw. We have seen Jasmine physically go and attack Rob, and we've seen Rob obviously be verbally abusive towards Sophie. All right? But at the same time, we've also seen... Actually, we'll leave it as that. Let's move on to the next bit. So the next bit here is where things get a bit interesting because this one is quite close to what Rob said. This person said, and by the way, Jasmine makes it abundantly clear that this was sent by a fan. Not that she wrote it, but either way though. Rob, your obsession with Jasmine is crazy. First, you provoked her and attacked her when she was pregnant. Stop right there. Hold on a minute. This man did not provoke that woman. All he did was stand on business and call her out for her BS. All he did was sit there and say to her that you literally cheated on on Gino with Matt. You could then once you cheated on him with Matt, you then went and got permission from Gino to cheat on him continuously with Matt. So much to the point that you are now pregnant. That is not provoking someone. That is called calling someone else on their BS. But of course, when it comes to anybody that wants to support Jasmine, they will flip it and say that she was provoked, which is BS. But even if she was provoked, should a pregnant woman attack another person when provoked? Absolutely not, because you are putting your child in danger. And obviously, as you can see, this person then says that he attacked her when she was pregnant, which is an absolute lie. She attacked him not once but twice. She took off her whole shoe. The woman had enough energy to take off her shoe and ready to launch it at the guy. Come on now. But anyway, we continue. Even on your TikTok, it's always Jasmine you were on her case about Matthew a few days ago. But you never talk about your girlfriend who told us you're a violent man. She dumped you. She's with another man. No, that's not your issue. Your obsession is with Jasmine. What did Jasmine do to you? Okay, let's talk about this real quick. First and foremost, why would he talk about Sophie if Sophie's no longer in a relationship with him? Why would he talk about Sophie? Sophie's now with a new man. Why would he talk about Sophie if he's now also been on a spin-off show where he was mingling with two other women? Make it make sense. So of course, Sophie's going to be nothing but distant memory. Now, of course, let's talk about the fact that Sophie exposed him to be a violent man. Yes, she exposed him to be a verbally violent man. Let's just keep it a buck. We can't talk about things that we didn't actually necessarily witness or we haven't seen evidence on. So to be fair, the fact that this person is trying to really flip the script, they're trying too hard. Come with the facts, not with the BS. But anyway, we continue with that being said. His person also continued by saying, dude, your wife is being banged by someone else. Your problem is with Jasmine. Why should Rob be bothered about Sophie sleeping with somebody else? Make that make sense. They're not together anymore. They are separated. And to be fair, you can put the same context with Jasmine. You could be sitting and saying, yo, Jasmine, you're banging somebody else whilst you're still married to Gino. In fact, you got pregnant while still married to Gino. Are you thinking about what you're saying before you actually type it in and actually press enter? But anyway, we continue. Your wife said you're gay, and every time you dream about Jasmine, get a life. I mean, listen, to be fair with you, is there an obsession with him always trying to call out Jasmine? Probably, yeah. But hey, it is what it is. But at the same time, though, Jasmine has an obsession with calling out Gino. Let's not forget. Even to this day, Jasmine still finds a way to bring Gino back into her mess. So really and truly, maybe Jasmine and Rob, maybe they're just too much alike, if anything. Yeah. But let's talk about the part regarding gay. Yes, of course, Sophie came out and exposed him for having gay for pay. And then she accused him for charging men to... You know what I'm saying? But again, we never saw that proof. So really and truly, yeah, we'll leave that one as it is. But here's the thing, though. Remember, folks, Jasmine did what? She decided to attack Rob when she was pregnant. Now, crazy because the same child that she was pregnant with, which is now a beautiful young girl called Matilda, well, guess what? Since that child has been born, what has Jasmine done with Matilda? Oh yeah, exploited her online every single day and every single opportunity she has. All she ever does is monetize that bloody child, and it is so freaking sad. That child doesn't have its own private life because mommy's always putting it on the internet. So much to the point that not only does Jasmine monetize her child, but she'll even somewhat weaponize her child. Don't know if that's the right word, but I'm going to show you what I mean, and then you can let me know if the word weaponize is the right one or if I'm missing the wrong word. But as you can see here, in further way of her attacking Rob, she said, this is the baby you wish harm upon. This is the baby you said you hope was never born. I mean, listen. Do what you will with that information. Those wasn't really the words that Rob said specifically. He was just making it clear that you got pregnant while cheating. So you shouldn't be pregnant. But yeah, do what you will with that one. Then she also continues again by using her child again by saying, Matilda, you're a sweet angel and gift from God. I love you endlessly. You are blessed and loved by so many, my princess. Again, now using her child to reel things in, so therefore her audience can give her sympathy because a man called Rob decided to bully her for being pregnant and also said he wished harm on her child, which was, yeah, okay, extreme. All right. Then also on top of that here, this was the one that obviously I showed you guys at the very beginning, okay, the one that was said by Rob. So that was the response there that was then given. But there was also something else said by Rob as well, okay. Rob then came in and said, God, all I ask is that you don't bring any more evil, selfish, manipulative, resentful women full of unhealed trauma into my life. If that means I have to be alone forever, so be it. This world isn't set up to be fairly protect a man's integrity when fighting for love. There are lines I would never cross, and you know my heart. I hope to never be blinded by love again. Worst thing a man can do. Fellas, if you have to fight for it, just walk away. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's speaking nothing but facts in that situation, or at least in the last one. The last one itself in particular says, if you gotta fight for it, then walk away. Because I tell you this now, I ain't gonna be a hypocrite like, yo, if I'm talking to someone, you know what I mean, and they start moving a bit mad where they want me to start fighting for them and stuff, like, no, I'm good. Like, if everything isn't working in a natural, smooth, organic way, then I don't need to be here. Like, you're disturbing my peace. I've got better things to be doing than to be investing time into fighting for someone to want me, fighting for someone to want to be around me, or fighting for someone just to prove that I want them back. Are you mad? I've got things to do in this life. I've got my mental health to look after for starters, you know what I mean? I've got to make sure I'm paying my bills, you know? And ain't no one else paying my bills. I got to make sure that I'm finding the perfect balance that I can also go out and enjoy life at the same time. Now you want me to stop, freeze, just for me to put in energy to convince someone that I want them, even though they know that they want me, but I've got to prove that you're mad. If you want me, you want me. If I want you, you want me. It's simple as 1, 2, 3. But hey, either way though, I do understand obviously this part of stuff in particular. Now, of course, when it does come to this comment stuff in particular, even though there's a lot of things that are said there that are things that I agree with, the only problem is that Rob has to understand one simple thing. If you want all of these things, you got to fix your character first, because let's be real, based on the way Rob carries himself, he's never going to find a woman that's going to fill in all of these things here that he's asking for, because, well, you don't lead by example. If you want something, you gotta lead by example. Once you lead by example, well, then you'll be able to find that person eventually. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, may not be this year, may not be for the next 2, 3 years, but either way, you gotta lead by example first before you want something like this. Don't ask for it if you're not ready to actually act upon it. Do you see what I'm saying? Which is why I understand this person on the side saying victim card. Because of course, you need to learn to take accountability at the same time in all aspects, if you dig what I'm saying. But, you know, people like Rob, unfortunately in this life, sometimes they'll get away with things purely because of what they say. What do they call it again? Pretty privilege. To be fair, for men, I call it handsome privilege, because I find it weird when men are called pretty. Yeah, I don't like being called pretty. That's just a me thing. But before we finish, now, as you know already, in this video, I even mentioned the fact that obviously, you know, Jasmine is always going to bring up Gino every now and then to make us irrelevant because she's obsessed with him. The same way Rob, I guess, will take any opportunity to call out Jasmine. Well, remember recently we made a video regarding Jasmine talking about these text messages of Gino talking to these women, and I was like, wait, hold on a minute. Why the hell is she exposing Gino for talking to another woman when Gino is single? And then also on top of that, I also made it abundantly clear that these messages didn't look like these messages were clearly made by Jasmine based on something else that she said. Well, here's the thing, folks. She then decided to backtrack and make a statement about how it was not her and it was somebody else. So, as you can see here, she says, I'm going to forward you. My apologies. Let me start again. I'm going to forward you. Please don't share them. Just read what it is saying about you. I'll ask my sister to send. My sis is enjoying milking all the information. And is just an idiot to reveal such information about going to New York to film Tell. The need to meet how he can be single, but now he's on single life. So basically, this is Jasmine saying the catfishing was a joke. I don't have the time and energy. Those were actually sent by a fan, and I've gotten so many from other women that would take me a year to post them all. So Jasmine is now coming out saying that the post that she made before regarding these posts here, this was never her catfishing Gino. It was actually a fan doing it himself in particular. Yeah, I'll let you decide whether or not you believe Jasmine or not, because boy, anything that she shares, I know I don't believe for the most part. Anyway, with that being said, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.